Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NJHMIS Household Composition Training. I'm just going to go over a few things to give a little background information on the Household Composition tab. So the awards Household Composition feature enables users to fully manage household changes, including adding, editing, or removing household member information and client records. Users can access the feature from within a client's face sheet or during the admission process and or via consumer lookup. So the process I'm going to show you guys is how to do a consumer lookup, find the individual you're looking for, and then go to their household composition. I will also be showing you guys the demographics report builder and their saved report format. Another thing I want to point out while I'm on this page, when changing the head of household to another member in the household, the consumer becoming the new head of household must have been in the program the entire stay. I will show you an example of that as well. In the event the new head of household was not in the program the entire stay, all members will need to be discharged and admitted with the new designated head of household. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and begin. So I already have a consumer in mind. I'm actually going to be using a training program. So Training Emergency Shelter, if you have an account in HMIS, you do have access to at least one or two training programs to practice on before you enter your information into a live program. So I'm going to be using Training Emergency Shelter Families. I'm going to go ahead and look up my consumer in the consumer search. Okay. This is all you need when you're doing a consumer lookup. You do have the options of entering their social security number or their birthday, but I'm going to only particularly use the first and last name. This is really all you need when looking for a consumer in the system. So I'm going to press continue. I'm going to press search. Okay, and here is the consumer I'm looking for. She is in the Training Emergency Shelter program. So I'm going to click on her name and go to the face sheet. Next, I'm going to click on the household composition. We are on the face sheet right now. Household composition will be next to the admission form and the waiting list and substance abuse. So I'm going to go ahead and click on household composition. Anytime you come here, you want to select complete history. As you can see, this household is pretty big. The consumer that we're looking at is Mama Bear right here. So I'm going to click on, I'm going to read from left to right first. So first is the first name and last name, date of birth, social security number, relationship to the head of household, status, living with household, start date, and end date. Also on the very far right, if you hover your mouse over it, it will say update relationships. And when you click on this and you update this, it will change what is in this particular column. So if I click on this, it will give me a list of the names in this household. If I do need to change it in case I made a mistake, I can go here and just select what else I'm looking for, and then I would press save. We want to make sure this is always filled out as well. Okay. Global household composition, that's what we just went over. And I also want to show you household program enrollment. So the difference between the two, global household composition will show you who is currently living in the household, whereas household program enrollment shows you who is currently in the program, who is enrolled in the program. Okay, so On this tab, it somewhat has the same information. It will just show you the discharge date as well if they've been discharged. Also on the far right, it will have primary client. As you can see, the only person who can be the primary client or the head of household is Mama Bear. She's the only one who has that option. If you hover your mouse over these warning signs, it will say HMIS household members who are children cannot be assigned as the primary client. So this consumer right here, if we look at her birthday, she is still a child, but the spouse or the father is an adult. So let's see why they cannot be the primary client. If you hover over your mouse over this warning sign, it will say this client cannot be a primary client or head of household for this program enrollment because they were not enrolled in the program for the entire stay. Please review their admission and discharge dates. This can be edited via the program history corrections tool. Okay, so that's one thing I would like to point out. As you can see, Mama Bear is the only person, the oldest person who's been in the program for the longest. So let me go back to the other tab. Okay. So as you can see, 1/11/2021, Mama Bear and her daughter both entered the program. But like I said before, only an adult can be the head of household. Then the father comes a day later. Then the rest of the children come later. So when it comes to adding their start dates have to match their admission dates, as you can see. But the only option when it comes to choosing a head of household would have to be Mama Bear because she is one, an adult, and she has also been in the program for the longest. Okay. Another thing I would like to show you, if you do need to edit their start date, you can just click on either their first or last name, change their start date to whatever it is supposed to be. The only time you want to enter an end date, it will tell you, I hover my mouse over it, the date the member exited or disassociated from the household. That is the only time you want to enter an end date. An end date does not equate to a discharge date. Those are two very different things. So a lot of times the end date will be blank on most of the household compositions throughout your program. The only time you want to enter a end date is if that consumer exited or disassociated themselves from the household. So for the most part, this will always be blank. Also, you do have a delete option. The only time you want to delete a record is if there is a duplicate within the household, you entered the same person twice, and you may have to delete one record. But we highly suggest reaching out to us before deleting a record in the household. Once you are done with that, just press continue. And there will be updated changes here. Okay, but again, like I said, if I click on start date, anything that's black and underlined, you can click on, it will open to something else. Okay, so like I said, the Mama Bear is the only one who's been in the program for the longest, along with the daughter. But like I said, the daughter cannot be the head of household. Their start dates and their admission dates must match. Okay, so this is what a household would look like if it was set up correctly. Okay. Another thing I want to go over, say for example, the head of household comes back and says she has another child that she would like to be admitted into the program. You would select Add New Household Member, first and last name, press Continue. It is a new record, so we're going to press New Record. And then, just like any other part of HIMIS, if you do not know their social security number, you can put 9 nines. Date of birth. Again, you can practice in a training program if you like. As you can tell, this is a practice household, but if you would like to practice as well in a training program and do the same thing I'm doing, you are more than welcome to do that. You do have access to. And in the start date, I'm going to enter today's date because she's just now coming to the household, and I'm going to press Continue. And then it would ask, would you like to admit Sasha into this program? Clicking yes will automatically create a referral record for the client. So if I pressed yes, it would take me into an entire new admission form so I could admit her into the program. Whereas if I press no, so I'm going to press no right now, for example, I don't want to admit her into the program. As you can see, the date of birth is blurred out. Social security number is blurred out as well. And that is because Sasha was not admitted into the program. She is just in the household. Okay, this is blank as well. And then, so I'm going to go ahead and fill this part in. Remember, we go to the arrows on the right-hand side. I'm going to say Sasha is her daughter, and I'm going to press save. So now, as you can see, that populated again, and now this information is filled in. Okay. As you can see, she is on this page, but if I press Household Program Enrollment, Sasha is not on this page. Why? Because she is not in the program. Okay. If I would like to admit her into the program, I can go here, create admission, select yes, and then it will take me to the admission form. I would fill this out, go to the bottom and press admit into program, and now she has been processed into the program as well as in a household. Okay, so I'm going to go home and show you guys how to, another way to go into a household composition. So I will go to census, profile, face sheet. This is the consumer we were working with. Roster archives means if I check this off, you can now go into records of consumers who have already been discharged from the program. But right now, I'm going to go to the consumer we've been working with. I'm going to press continue. Okay, remember we're back to the face sheet, and we're going to select household composition. Make sure we select complete history, and now we are back to the household composition. Okay. So again, I'd like to point out, for example, if Mama Bear left the program and she needs to be discharged, she is the head of household, so you would have to discharge the entire household, readmit them, and Papa Bear would probably be the next head of household. He's the only adult left in the program. Okay, so that is how you would do that. I'm going to go back to our information sheet. Again, end date equals removing a member from the household. This does not discharge a member from the household or from the program. The delete button that we went over before, when a mistake was entered, a record cannot be recovered. So that's why we really want to make sure if you're deleting something, please reach out to us first to make sure you're deleting the correct record. Okay, the LSA, the report looks at the global household ID and relationship to head of household. That is a report that is run that pulls information for the past 2 years. APR, a report looks at consumer's latest admission date. Therefore, the length of a consumer's stay may be shortened if they were discharged and admitted again into the same program within a reporting date range. Okay, so depending on your program, you may need to run the APR. And also the LSA is another major report that pulls in certain information. For example, the global household ID and relationship to head of household. The last thing I want to show you guys is a report that you can run. You can verify if all global household dates are on or before the admission date within your particular program. So I'm going to go back to awards. I'm going to go to reports. I'm going to go to all. You do have the option of all, bookmarked, or report builders. But I'm going to go to all, make sure I'm in the correct program, and I'm going to run a demographics report builder. Okay, I want to backdate a little. Okay. Save report format. I'm going to press continue. Okay. So from left to right, it will have global household ID, first and last name, client ID, date of birth, relationship to primary client, individual family type at admission, admission date, global household start date, discharge date if they have one, global household end date if they have one as well, and then the program you are working with. Okay. So this is the household we were working with. As you can see, everything is correct. Okay. This is the household we were working with. At the very bottom, it says a record count of 12 individuals. I'm going to scroll back to the top. There is an Excel file link where if you click on this, it will download the file and you can save it onto your computer. On the far right, say for example, you don't want to see a certain column in this report, you can uncheck that information. Okay. As you can see, the page repopulated and now you can see things. It's the same information, but you can kind of take away certain things if you don't want to see them, and then you can add them back. Okay. So the report that I just ran, I ran for the Training Emergency Shelter Families, the Demographics Report Builder, and the save report format is called Foothold Data Quality Report, Family/Household Comparisons version 2. It will show you the date range that you selected. I ran it for a little over a year. Okay. The last thing I would like to show you guys is the help desk feature. If you do have a household program enrollment issue, household composition, I can just go to help desk. Anytime you have an issue in general when it comes to HMIS, you want to go, like I said, I'll go back again. I just go to the far right, click help desk. It will open up into another tab. And so I'll go over this page with you guys. So search online help. It will give you the one last chance to search online help before you send a help desk message. 2, it will be sent to our entire team. Vanessa is the help desk specialist, so she will probably be the main one to respond. But again, we can all see the message. Subject, it can be something brief, just a topic of what you're going to be discussing. Message, you can put the first and last name, personal ID, client ID, any information that you need to get your point across to tell us what your issue is. When it comes to household composition, they can be a little tricky. It is a lot to take in, so before you delete anything or say you have a duplicate, please send us a help desk message, put the first and last name, let us know who the head of household is, and we can go in and take a look at that with you to make sure you are correcting everything that needs to be corrected, because sometimes there's multiple errors. Also, please put your phone number in the chat box as well, in the message box, because sometimes we may read your message and we're not exactly sure, or we don't see the error that you're seeing. So please put your phone number so we can contact you. Click path. So what did you click on in order to see that error? Again, anything with a red asterisk next to it must be filled in. Awards area. So where in awards did this error take place? Data date. So if there's any dates involved, you can put them here. Consumer ID, another place to put that. Affected users. So does it affect the entire office or does it just affect you in particular? When you click on this, it will have a drop down of all the users in your agency. You just select whatever name. Division. You just select your division and then the program that you are working with that had the error. So I use Training Emergency Shelter Families. I select that. Also, you can screenshot your computer screen. If you do have an error, you screenshot the screen, save it to your computer, and you can attach the file to the help desk message right here. That is not required, but it is something you can use. It is available. Once you're done, you can select send message. When you get a response, the message will appear under messages right here. You would click on this, and then your message would appear here in this portion of the page. So if you do have any problems with your household composition, please send a help desk message. It will gladly help you. Okay. That is the end of our training. Again, if you have any questions, please send them to the help desk. We can gladly direct you to the correct place to fix your error. Thank you guys and have a great day.